India calls out Pakistan. At the UNHRC, the country in fact has exposed Pakistan's hypocrisy once again. Pakistan's lecture on human rights is ironic, is what India has said, and world's worst rights violator is trying to preach to the world about human rights. It's quite an irony there. India has also highlighted minority persecution that's being witnessed in Pakistan, and another message being sent from India to Pakistan on a global platform is that Pakistan should stop, in fact, spreading propaganda. Listen in.
Mr. Vice President, India is steadfastly making efforts to ensure that fullest enjoyment of human rights by our people and to realize sustainable development. We must collectively reaffirm our commitment to the ideals of the VDPA. Mr. Vice President, we find it deeply ironic that a country with one of the world's worst human rights records seeks to lecture others. Their attempt to misuse this forum with fabricated allegations against India only expose their hypocrisy. Instead of making baseless propaganda, they should confront the rampant state-sponsored persecution and systematic discrimination against their own religious and ethnic minorities that plague their own society. I thank you.
Let's now go across to my colleague Shanjoy Chaudhary, who is joining us on the broadcast. For more on this, Shanjoy, this was Indian diplomat Mohammad Hussain, in fact, who was exposing Pakistan at the UNHRC.
Yes, undoubtedly, and he's right, because you look at the attacks on the minorities in Pakistan. You look at the forcible conversions, particularly of young women. You look at the attacks on Muslim minorities like the Ahmadiyyas. A man wins a Nobel Prize for Pakistan, the first to do so, and his grave is desecrated. Now this is what Pakistan is all about. And quite rightly, the Indian diplomat made it very clear that what right does Pakistan have to talk about human rights when their human rights situation is as appalling as it is?
Well, absolutely. And also some very, very, important comments have been made that how India finds it deeply ironic that a country with one of the worst human rights reports seeks to lecture others. Instead of making baseless propaganda, Pakistan should confront the rampant state-sponsored persecution and systematic discrimination against their own religious and ethnic minorities that plague their own society. Stay on with us, Shanjoy. We have Rabinder Sachdev joining us on the phone line as well. Good morning. Thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. An important point being made by Indian diplomat Mohammad Hussain at the 34th meeting of the 60th session of UNHRC in Geneva. How will you like to respond?
Thank you so much. Definitely, yes, India has to, India must, and inform the world repeatedly about, the situations within Pakistan with respect to human rights and especially related to minorities. However, the issue also is that amongst the wider aspect of UN reforms, keep aside the reforms of the UN Security Council, various agencies and wings of the UN have to be reformed so that, for example, what is said at the UNHRC is taken note of. Otherwise, every year or every time whenever such gatherings happen, India does point this out. But what is the outcome? That is the core issue, right? We keep highlighting the misdemeanors, the severe lacking of human rights in Pakistan. We point it out, but then it seems to hit a wall. So it definitely is our bounden duty, no doubt. And we must keep on, but at the same time, amongst the reforms of the United Nations, when we call for reforms of the UNHRC, we should also keep in mind, and the wider audiences, that India is calling for reform of the various UN agencies also, that they should have more teeth as to, otherwise it's words and words left on papers, but nothing moves ahead beyond that.
Right. Mr. Rabinder Sachdev, appreciate you speaking with us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. Thank you very much, Shanjoy, for your input on this story.